for both these teams, but it is Endpoint in the lead, and once more, they will be on that CT side first, looking to try and start this game off strong.
Yeah, you're going to see Connor and Co. going to be charging more to the CT slide push. It's going to be a headshot backwards and forward as Cryptic is going to find the trade. Jacob as well, back in return, but Mighty Max, a double kill for him as Reason is going to respond with a double kill for himself. This is madness. As Snot left in a 1 versus 2, 1 minute 30 on the clock. 20 seconds, all these frags? Well, only in UK Masters, as Snot is going to have to make it work from the bottom up, dips down over on towards this B site. That's where he think the read leads him towards.
And it is exactly where Imperial are currently heading towards, currently sending Boaster to test the waters here before they commit the bomb into the B site. But it's a great read straight off by Team Endpoint. Unfortunately though, Imperial able to get the best of it. They are inching their way down the ramp here. Snod's looking to just hold back in case they come through secret or that duck as well. It will be Imperial making their way towards the site, but will they peek this door? He's going to jump through. Snods does find Resin, but Boaster also watching good stuff from Imperial, and that will be them getting the first point on the board. Very crucial on T-side nuke.
It starts them off so strong and very dominant as well, as they just got themselves some pretty crisp frags at the start, and nice one at the end. They played together, they backed off the fact that it was a 2 versus 1, they traded off each other, really built up to that impressive T-side pistol. Now they look for that second, of course, Endpoint. They're raring to respond, their foot is going to hit the deck 100 mile an hour forward. They want this round.
And will be Imperial looking to take control of the outside area now that they have those rifles in hand, can win some long-range trades as well. Going to have to see what Endpoint can do to hold off as Cryptix opens up with Zelen fairly convincingly with his Deagle. It's not the greatest of starts for Endpoint, and it looks like it might continue going that way as Boaster gets a bit of a love tap from Snod CZ there. But for Imperial, still the superior guns and a nice spread out across the map. Outside is theirs for now, as long as they don't get peeked and magic to happen.
It'll be a patience game employed by Endpoint. They don't want to overbear when they have that advantage. Jacob, Boaster all being low as well. This information that does sit towards that CT side, they're not going to be completely unaware to what is going on. As for now, Imperial, they're trying to work out what their best approach can be. How do they want to go into this round? Well, a 1 versus 1 against Ezio, that would have been a pretty nice pick for them to have, but Ezio just strafes on backwards. He denies it instead. He looks for one of his own, and he's just going to tap down from above. There you have it, a singular frag for him. Still no response for Imperial. The going is getting rough.
And time is ticking down. 25 seconds, they need to make a move now, and it is going to be towards that B site here as Jacob tries to make his way through the tunnels. Mighty Max will be holding up close with a ZZ. Can he find the frag? Up close is the question. 13 seconds, this bomb needs to get moving, and they are going to be able to get it planted on the site. I say that as Cryptix jumps out with a Galil and stops it all in its tracks. Endpoint are able to take the round as the time ticks to 0. And unfortunately for Imperial, they weren't able to find all those frags in time, so they do not win out. We will get that invisible gun glitch fixed for you guys, a little bit of a pause just to make sure that you guys can see the action as well, but a crucial round lost there by Imperial. Endpoint able to steal that one away.
Yeah, just the CZs, the pistols, being able to do the work, and that pretty much resets, and that brings them back up to that standpoint where they can fight, they can try and equalize the score, and then this is kind of their headway back into the match. So we kind of just have to see how this next one is going to go, right? Because bear in mind that these sort of rounds and this sort of standpoint in terms of economics, we could still see Endpoint fall away from this one. It could just go 3-1, and everything has all but been lost.
Well, we'll have to find out very shortly as soon as we get that game reloaded on our observer feed. Yeah, a counter reset could be possible. I don't feel it's likely though. When Endpoint tends to make these anti-ecos work for them, they hold on to the lead usually. And for Imperial, already a map down in the dust after that train match, doesn't mean that their mentality is going to be at the strongest of points it could ever be. Endpoint's certainly going to be rearing after stealing a round away. I would look to Endpoint to take the next one. That just is what my intuition tells me. But hey, Imperial, they have shown us that they are a fighting force. They can get those points on the board. Perhaps, you're right, a reset might happen.
For sure, it certainly leaves the door wide open, but I'll tell you a fun fact, Azzy. Do you want just a bit of an inside knowledge?
Yep.
Right? Is that The whole reason this invisible bug gun happens is because we don't have any Owned by HP PCs powering our observing feed. And you know why that's so important? It's because Owned by HP can take you to the next level. They provide solid PCs, pretty damn fancy looking ones too, so make sure you do go check them out for all things Omen. Of course, one of our beautiful sponsors for UK Masters.
I thought you were going to say it was because we're not currently viewing the game through the AOC monitors. In fact, you guys can get one. We've still got a giveaway going. Exclamation mark giveaway. It's a great
Appreciate
monitor. Go check it out. If you're going to sell it, I'll outsell you.
We do love our sponsors though, guys, so do make sure you support them. They're what make these sort of things happen. So everyone always says, well, where's the support at for domestic UK tournaments? Here's your shot. Go show that support. Either way, we're back into the game. This time, well, we are going to be seeing how the action is going to unfold. Endpoint, they do have themselves that mixed bag. Imperial will try and bat them back though with the Kevlar, with the pistols. It's two different rivaling forces. Trying to see, okay, who can double up for that 2-1 scoreline. As Jacob back towards outside is going to be there with the Tech 9, trying to really break bank. But nothing has found towards his direction yet. That gives him no information. Boaster going to try and change that storyline for him. Turns the page in towards this A-main position. Captures off Mighty Max. That's something for him to play with. But what more can he chew on?
HE grenade by the looks of it. As Ezio finds the frag with that onto Boaster. How about that for a meal? Not quite the explosive diet he was looking for. But he did lose a couple of pounds, so I guess it was effective. Jacob will be able to take down Imi. And Imperial do have the advantage as far as men are concerned. But they have Snods coming up from behind as they make their way towards the B site. Jacob up close, UMP in hand. Definitely a devastating gun if he can land the shots. The bomb looking to be planted on that B site, and Endpoint yet to make their move.
And this is a game of chess right now. Two tacticians up against each other. Jacob versus Emmy. Who has the smarter brain? Who can make the quicker call? Which firepower can overcome the other? On paper, it should be Endpoint in every single sense of the word. But for now, Connor, he's just going to hold. He's waiting, tries to find a few and gets it on towards Cryptic. Ezio is going to respond with a rifle, bent a few shots round on towards Reason. He sneaks in, another on towards Connor, tags him down to 1 HP. Snods though, he's defusing the bomb, but it's not quite got enough time. Zetland will punish him with the Deagle, and it's going to be a drive-by that carries Imperial forward 2-1. As they bat their way up on Nuke. And they break the economy of Endpoint. They're going to be going, okay, do we force this? Do we go back?
He's forcing it.
This is interesting from them. 257s, the UMPs, the M4.
Yep, we got the seesaw rocking. Let's go. Endpoint want to do the same once more, and why not? Imperial may not be expecting that Endpoint would just force up like that. It is currently the guns in Imperial's hands which will be superior. Not that that seems to matter this game. Imperial on the back of some great deagle shots from Connor and Zelen, able to hold on to that one. Let's have a look to see if they can continue, as Boaster will find a rotating Snods. Mighty Max pushes up with his UMP, but he will not land a shot there on Jacob, unfortunately. Imperial in a good position now. They've whittled away the CTs. They are forcing them to spread out even more thinly. They can start to breach some of the walls of the defense here. Get the bomb plant down. They'll be good for an after plant.
An after plant. Hopefully, gonna wait and see. But for now, it is just them getting themselves onto that site. Imperial ready to try and force that segue down. Smoke should go down over towards Secret. That's gonna block them off a little bit, give them a little bit more room to play with. Also try and pull a few Endpoint members over. You can see him already taking that peek. As Connor over towards ramp is going to check out those angles. Imi still waiting to respond now, bends it back, spots that one, goes for the shot, doesn't quite find the head. That makes things a little bit more awkward for them to try and work with.
24 seconds. Here, Imperial need to start to move in. That's going to be Resin finding a quick headshot onto Cryptix. May pull Endpoint up towards the A site, but it's the B bomb site where the bomb has been planted. This flank from Imi will be successful. Boaster has something to say about it. Now both these Endpoint members in the decks here, looking to try and get onto the bomb, but it's on the other side of this big column, which makes the defuse extremely difficult. Ezio all by himself will find that a lonely task. He is taken away, and Imperial able to hold on to a consecutive round. Make it 3-1 now. And Endpoint will be feeling the hurt of that force.
Yeah, some really well-placed crossfires coming in from Imperial. They're pulling their strongest players right in positions where they can just get themselves back-to-back frags and also peak at the right time. Some individual thought process coming in there as well, because Jacob, he's not the sort of IGL who is just going to hold your hand through every single moment. So, from Imperial, a good start. That's kind of what we're hitting towards now. Can they keep it going? I think the question is going to answer itself, as at least in this round, they are just going to try and isolate and search and destroy up against these pistols. As they rocket their way forward, Boaster going to find himself one. Ezio is going to respond with one in return, but there is Connor. Tops it up to just another few kills for him. He does some more damage.
I believe it was Nuke. As I saw Connor get 27 kills on his T side. Up against, I want to say, Fish123.
Okay.
Unfortunately, on his CT side, he slept. He did get his 30 bomb in the end, and Imperial actually did lose the game. But this guy on T side is someone who is a force to reckon with.
It's a catalyst is what he is.
Absolutely. It's a catalyst for success, so we'll have to keep an eye on his stats. Currently 5, 1 and 3 on round 6. Not quite the head start that he had in that previous matchup, but it's good for Imperial. 4-1 here. We see the gun round here in round 6. Team Endpoint with the utility and the weaponry to take the game to Imperial. As long as they can avoid those early frags that Imperial have been securing for themselves.
Ooh, Jacob so crisp, so crafty as he takes down 8. Max is going to try and rain down havoc from above. But he ain't no fire, he ain't got no rocket launcher. Instead, he's just got that M4, and that just doesn't really garner too much presence for him right now. He's going to try and make the best of the situation. Zelen finds just another on towards Cryptix, and Mighty Max still struggling towards outside. Finally gets himself that frag. Ezio is going to come in from behind on the quick flank. But it's just one. It's just trades. And Imperial, they are swindling them down. It's a 3 versus 2. The bomb is so far back. Imperial, they're just playing for these picks at this point. But they do have that transition into a later part of the round. They can't just play this forever.
That man advantage might just be allowing may just allow them to get the bomb plant down, but you are right. Cleaner rounds necessary to keep that economy rolling over. Required by Imperial. Snods sneaking around just outside of B site. May run into Boaster with his back turned. No, he is watching the angle, so Boaster has to be very careful as he is currently carrying the bomb. Boaster does not check his angles, and Boaster will fall. An unfortunate tail for Imperial here as the bomb is on the ground in Snods' clutches, and 30 seconds are on the clock. It is a 1 versus 2 hunt mission. Oh, I'm wrong. The bomb, they have it.
It doesn't matter though.
All the storyline! Doubts you can't cast, unfortunate.
It's all good. It's all good, because things will work out so far the way of Snods. He's been able to get himself onto the site. He's going to try and take the 1 versus 1 reason. He's going to get a few little shots, but Zelen is going to be the man to actually land it right in his chest. The round done and dusted. The bomb will go pop, and it is going to be a 1-5 scoreline. And Dowsy, you're apparently a broken man as you stare into your soul at the bottom of the desk.
Unfortunate times. I thought it was cooler than it was.
It's all good.
But hey, that's the story of my life. Cooler, thinking I'm cooler than I was. Unfortunate.
You gotta fake it till you make it, mate. That's all good.
Definitely, let's fake it. Okay, 5-1. Imperial do still have the lead, but a time for them to start getting a bit of economy into their banks as Endpoint are on the pistols. They need a clean round here, Imperial. Can't really afford to lose too many members. A good start. Unfortunately, not for the... Connor loses his life to Ezio. The trade manages to come through here for Endpoint.
Mighty Max with an eagle. Fires off 1. It's a quick volley, but it's going to be well met in return. There's not a single reward. Mighty Max still searching. A lot of time on the clock, bear in mind, for Imperial. They need to really use a lot of this. Bear in mind, on the T side, time is a commodity. You can start to spend that. As long as you're putting use to it, you have no stress in spending it. But the counterpoint to that is if you are just kind of idling around, you're just kind of fiddling, not really gaining too much, not really doing anything with it at all, then you're just kind of dumping a few $1,000s into a bank account. You know, they're not even looking towards. So it's a very double-edged situation. Boaster going to find 2, however, starts to really point towards the former of that statement, utilizing it wisely, as it is going to be Endpoint. Wheeling firepower. Ezio trying to make the best of the situation, but there is no money hidden in an offshore account for him to find, as it is going to be Cryptix in a 1 versus 4.
Deagle in hand, but he can get rushed. Good shot coming through! He's not quite able to connect that last one onto Jacob to finish the job. 6-1 here for Imperial as they start to build up a bit of a buffer for themselves, but another gun round to come. And Endpoint will be looking to try and put this fire out. 4 defuse kits and full nade utility for the team here. Looking to do their best to hold on against Imperial, but it's these aim battles that Imperial are winning out mostly. Just opening up the map for themselves, not doing anything too, tricky, really.
We stressed the kingpins of Imperial so much in that last map, but you can almost see the kind of the direct change of pace for Imperial, where they're always doing that identical thing to Endpoint now. Look at Snods, for example. He's the guy that we always wanted to see with the scope. Where's he on the scoreboard? Pretty much right down there at the bottom. I think he's on 2 right now. Yeah, so second in place, with Imi just being naturally below, unfortunately, so haven't really able to step up either. So both of these kind of, whether you're looking at the tactician, there's Imi, also a bit of an AWP in himself, and also Snods, those scopes haven't been able to get going at all. We've also had pretty rare chances because the economy has been ground out. So for Endpoint, they really are stuck in a bit of a hole. And that's down to the way Imperial are playing. They're deciding to capture off a few certain players, abuse a few certain angles that those players are frequenting. And from there, it's that same old argument of a 5 versus 3. Watch that first map back. They're saying the exact same thing.
Challenge. Tweet Flakes at Flakes TV if he is wrong. I'm sure he'll appreciate it. But hey, currently something needs to change for Endpoint. A good start for them as Mighty Max able to take out Jacob, and Zellen's going to be forced out of the trophy room as well. Snods with the AWP, but his shoulder, it's visible to Boaster, and unfortunately for Snods, he didn't even see Boaster's line of sight. However, Imperial, they rush onto the sites and they lose their lives. Just Boaster left in a 1 versus 4, and Endpoint are starting to figure this one out here. If Boaster can make magic happen, I will lose my head, but currently on 16 HP. Not looking likely here as he falls back into the outside world. Gets that AWP from Snods' corpse and will look to hold onto it as the clock ticks to 0. Endpoint able to find that one. They're spraying the wall. Know that the AWP must be the position that Boaster is currently hiding on, but he does take it to the next round. A hefty investment, not needing to be purchased up by Imperial, will help out their purchase here as we head into round number 9.
It's the right foot forward for Endpoint. They've got themselves in a situation where they can start to almost directly cut in half what Imperial have gained, but this can still go sour. It can still be that rotten apple that you find at the bottom of the basket, as it is going to be Imperial looking to start off strong with this one, but they're well met with nades. Jacob, 47 HP, already on the pretty much the brunt force of those frags. Zellen is going to look to kind of curve something around the smoke, however.
Let's see what he can do here. Snods is pushed very offensively in that outside area. Imperial love to play outside. They love to get the advantage in the outside.
Well, they've been able to abuse so many players outside. They've been able to find frags there practically every single round, so why not?
Now they're changing up their game plan. It is 4 over towards that trophy area. 3, in fact. That's not the strong point of the Australian. Shooting an AK, not the strong point of Snod. Stick to the AWP, my friend. Mighty Max will be able to trade back on over. Does leave Resin very low on HP. 4. But a man advantage, not for Imperial. It's a 4 versus 4. They look to push Imi here. Being able to find Connor's head. Drops onto the ramp. It's going to be Zellen pushing forward, but it has the support of Mighty Max to help on out. They do manage to make their way through here. There's going to be a site attack for Imperial, but they still need to clear out these angles. They know exactly where they're going. Emi not able to find the kill. Ezio opens the doors, drops the bomb. 21 seconds left on the clock, but they're able to find the trade. With that will be the bomb recovered. Cryptics and Mighty Max attacking from the same angle, but Resin able to plant the bomb straight under the feet of Cryptics and Imi. Here they come over the gallery, but Resin finds the double spray, and Imperial are able to reset the economy of Endpoint.
Just playing it so smart. Backs out the smoke, spots out the first, and then just tags on towards the second, and that's the problem. You kind of cover that last point almost with belittling kind of importance to it, because that economy reset means that instead of looking at a 6-3 where Endpoint start to really cut in half what Imperial gain, instead it's 7-2, they know they're in a pretty damn tough situation, so they've opted to force. Which means this could be even worse than now if they don't play this right. Snods again being damaged down towards outside. He's opted to just be stuck on the CZ. Unfortunately for him, his economy wasn't quite there, and yet again going to be isolated by Jacob. It's just so tough for him to get going. I don't know where it all went wrong. Hopefully we can see some improvement in that department. Ezio as well, the firepower just not quite working out. If this force goes wrong, this scoreline rapidly escalates. Cryptic's at least throwing a wrench in the works as he captures Philip. O'Connor on the trade. Jacob another one towards Imi. Endpoint. Where are you going to get going? What happened between that first map and the second?
Perhaps it's just Imperial's ability to play Nuke.
They're just warmer on Nuke, perhaps, because we kind of did talk about at the start Endpoint being a team who, yeah, we saw Nuke from them last season, but look at last season roster, look at this season's roster. That's the big changes. Look at the way they played last season in terms of just their team, their CS style. I'd say it's probably changed a fair bit as well, because it does when you kind of bring in new players, the way you peak, the way you handle situations. So I think all in all, Endpoint a bit of a different package. Clearly having some problems, some teething pains as they go into this one. Now on the pistols, you are kind of almost guaranteed a 9-2 scoreline. Inside Nuke.
We'll have to see if Endpoint can sort their act out before this half completes, but it is these 4 members of Imperial looking to charge Ezio on the A site here. They make their way right around the map. Perhaps up through heaven. Straight onto where Snods and Ezio are currently sitting. They're going to fall down towards the B site, and everyone from Imperial going to join them here. It is going to be a party in the observer room. Selen will be the one to say, "You're not invited, Ezio. Snods, you neither." Imperial do take it to that 9-2 that they were practically guaranteed, and a pause will come out here. Perhaps a tactical pause from Endpoint just to try and stop the momentum that Imperial are building and work out where they are going wrong.
Yeah, they've identified this as that big moment, right? This is their career-defining, almost midlife crisis. Because they're sat there with $4,300, $4,400, pretty much equally spread across their players. So they're going to go into this with that full buy of the rifles. They're going to have that utility. But if they make the wrong play, they drop out of this round, you start to see Imperial on 10, 11. You're pretty much looking at what could be something just as bad as a 12-3, perhaps that's bank on Endpoint even getting just another round. That right there to recover from is going to be so tough on your T side of Nuke when you're Endpoint. So they know that this is pretty much that kind of big play. Now the question is, what are they going to do? Where are they going to go from this? Are we going to see that same old sort of issue outside where Imperial, they just push, they get them a frag and then they fall back? Or are we going to see some aggression there to try and catch them off guard? We did see Snods try and go closer to Silo, but that didn't really lead to too much. Nothing really changed. He just got one. We saw a trade. They got caught off guard, and the same round went in the same favour for Imperial. So perhaps aggression towards Silo isn't the call. Perhaps instead of worrying too much on outside, deal with inside. Do something towards ramp. Something in that department, at least.
Well, now a chance for Endpoint to maybe change something up here. They are going to purchase up the M4s and the UMP. Try and put out this force that Imperial has been exerting. Try and stop the ball in its motion as Imperial look to challenge this A site. It's the first time they've really done it here. Now they are going to test what Ezio and Cryptics have been cooking up this whole map. Nope. Now going to challenge once more. This is classic Imperial default. Take control of Trophy Room, try and get onto the ramp, and then you've got the whole map to yourselves. You can loop back around to A, or you can go down into the B site, and historically we see them head B.
Are we going to see history repeat itself, though? Because that leads to a pretty damn deafening score, and as we mentioned, so let's see how this is going to go at least. Right now, Endpoint going to look to hold this one off. Are we going to have to see that presence garner on towards A? Or wherever it may lead. Connor, 8 HP, bear in mind, Jacob 39, 2 big numbers, 2 ones you've already mentioned. There's Jacob, it's just going to be there to peek. Poster, claps off this Ezio. Flash, all well timed, that's a frag. This T-side employ, the second now next in line, but Money Max should be able to back that. This should be a beautiful one for him, but there's the trade. It's a Snods 2.0 situation. The same thing happened outside. Imi is going to secure the frag on towards Jacob. 3 low players, so perhaps they can still build something off of this, but Snods too late to find the frag on towards Reason. Gotta go fast. Reason turns on around, still very cautious to push out a door, and that will lead to his death. So at least a 2 versus 2. 2 low players still to find Snods. He could make or break this round.
Unfortunately for him, Boaster will peek out from his cubbyhole and find Snods very easily. Imi does get the trade, but Connor is there at the back of the site, and he will stab on through Endpoint's play. Looking very good, Snods. He held the ramp area strong. He forced Imperial onto the A site, harder to take. But for Endpoint, they weren't able to hold on. Some great flash play from Imperial to open up the site, and unfortunately, the opportunities presented to Endpoint not quite able to be capitalized upon.
Seemingly just a very tough game for Endpoint, and all that it really leads to is the idea that at the end of the day, our heart goes out for them. We wanted to see better. We were hoping that this would be the start of something new, but they struggled last week. We saw that kind of infused mishap. Well, we thought that was just a bit of a mishap. This time, this is starting to look like, at least on Nuke, that things really just aren't quite as they seem. Boaster is going to be there to be taken down by immediately, so a frag advantage from CT side. Breeze is going to try and find a trade, but Ezio is going to be engaged in a bit of a back and forth battle with Jacob. We'll push it out on top. Zeller just going to hold even further tight. A very wacky rounded approach. But now a bomb to be dropped. Cryptics could try and make this one work.
How perfectly did Imperial read that? Yes, they didn't quite get the play that they wanted, but they held so far back, knowing that Endpoint were going to try something desperate, knowing that they would try and challenge outside. Almost worked out for Imperial. In fact, you could say it did. They're in this 1 versus 2 scenario. It's not last man alive, and Jacob able to capitalize off it. Imperial, they taste the desperation in the air coming from Endpoint. They take a big chomp at them as well. 11-2, round 14 here. Endpoint desperately looking to put more on the board before they switch sides. And a pistol round win heading into the second half for Imperial could just seal the fates of Endpoint in this series.
Getting tougher and tougher by the second. Confidence yet again coming in towards outside of Connor. Just peeks out wide and tries to force the fight. It's pretty much sending Endpoint packing. They lose all remnants of control in me with the scout. Is trying to hop around the place and see what he can make stick, but nothing is going to give him an opportunity to try and connect anything at all just yet. Which really doesn't paint too positive of a picture at this point. Is the painting, well, it's trying to dry itself out, but unfortunately just too long in the wait. As Imi just going to be shoulder peeking. The smoke is going to almost act as the perfect blocking point too, so just getting worse and worse by the second for him now. As the conditions just seem to be dribbling away. Connor looking down over on towards B. Imperial, notice how spread they are right now. They're just trying to look for frags. They're feeling very, very confident, but at the same time, there's that certain element of control. That beauty of, okay, we're going to take these fights, but we're going to still be smart in them. We're not just going to throw it away with one crazy rapid push.
And even if Endpoint were to group up and take a trade battle with Imperial, that leaves an area of the map that Imperial can then just charge right through as soon as they get that information. Thankfully for Endpoint, Imi was able to land a quick flick of the scouts and take down Boaster there. But with 30 seconds left, this B site looking very juicy for Endpoint. Imi on ramp. Endpoint, Imperial in fact will recognize that Imi is in this area since they lost a man from that angle. And Connor jumps quickly out. Jacob very close on up, takes down Mighty Max. Cryptic quick enough to react to the bullets flying towards his feet. Chucks a flashbang down, but he's not too confident he can jump down and challenge Jacob just yet. He was right in the matter as well. Ezio Snods, they're trying their best, but their best was not enough. At 12th now for Imperial here, putting the scoreline to a very bleak scenario for Endpoint. And in this last round of the half, Endpoint's economy has been ruined. 3 UMPs, the M4's there as well, but they haven't been able to afford much utility. Just the single diffuse kit. Imperial looking to make this a 13-2.
It's just been constant force-ups after force-ups. Imperial, they're just playing it smart. They spread out, they look for the information. They did it in that round. They saw, okay, Imi just got a frag with the scout. He's going to be holding B. They realize he's just one man solo holding B with a scout. That's disastrous, and then there is the cataclysmic push. This time, at least, we get a little bit more of a different style of play. Zelen in a caught off guard by a double push coming in from Mighty Max. Imi towards outside is going to get a drive-by on towards Jacob. So a 5 versus 3 instantly, within just 30 seconds or so. Completely different from any other round we've seen from Endpoint so far.
And if they take the round, it's a bit of a confidence booster heading to the next one. Unfortunately for Imi, flashed banged out and Boaster was able to secure the frag there. Ezio looking to trade, but it's almost like it's too late to little for Endpoint. Yes, you may have got this round, maybe. Yet to find out. It's a 3 versus 4. Favors Endpoint, but
it's still two very
it's still
big scorelines,
3-12, isn't it? Yeah.
It's still going to be tough.
You can't remove the fact that you are down by that many rounds.
They could get this round though, and I think that is the point we have to at least start to rally behind. The music is going to be playing, the drums are going to kick on in. Now it's time for the warband to get on marching. There's Boaster ready to peek out on towards Ezio, finds himself the frag. Little by little, we inch back to a 3 versus 3. Endpoint, don't screw this one up. You go from a 5 versus 3 to this. Now you're on the verge of potentially losing it. Mighty Max needs to find this frag towards ramp. He realizes where the push is coming from. Isolates the angle, covers it off with a few volleys here and there. 20 seconds on the clock. Snot does have the backstab as well, just to be insurance policy. As Connor is going to find the trade. Smoke is going to go down to active perfect trap. Here is Snot, finds one, looks for the second, but there's a bit of a mare, allowing Reason the chance to strike. He jumps on over the head, 7 seconds on the clock. Reason has to play for it all, but Cryptics with the UMP will steal the deal. It is going to be a 12-3 half, so something better. But it's 3 rounds. They have their work cut out for them, and you can't remove the idea that a pistol round pretty much ends this match.
Absolutely. But put Imperial on 3. The potential to take it straight to that match point without Endpoint even getting to those AKs. A tough position now for Endpoint. A pistol round win is necessary. Let's see where they can go from it. Will be them heading on out, spreading towards this area, but Boaster pushing aggressively, and he will shut that one down immediately. Mighty Max onto Connor, and he's able to find the kill. It is that 5 versus 3 scenario for Endpoint. This time looking very favorable. Zelen decides to try his luck against Mighty Max this time. He drops the bomb, gets that info, and all of a sudden, Endpoint shut down Imperial's defense. Just resin on the A site, and everyone making their way there. Cryptics will find the kill. Does get 4-12, but now another 8 to score the line.
It's a long journey. No one's saying this isn't a marathon. But at the end of the day, what do they say with a marathon? You got to start somewhere. You don't just jump into a marathon willy-nilly. You put preparation into it. Do some practice. So, for Endpoint, hopefully, all that resourcefulness, all that practice from previous seasons, all the ability of them knowing how to play Nuke as individuals, can roll into a package now that they can at least try and run with the idea that they can make this work. Get that confidence. The Snots starting to step up in the second half. You can already see him warming his hands as he finds that frag on towards Reason.
All necessary kills for Endpoint. This game, though, could be turned on its head disastrously at any point when we do start to hit those gun rounds. Endpoint, a bit of catch-up, a bit of a handicap in the second half. They'll look to try and abuse it as much as possible, making their way down towards the B side. Going to run into Connor. Connor not quite able to secure a kill for himself. Zelen finds the AK of Imi, and Snods will shut down both. Jacob does his best. It was a brave play, but Endpoint will get 5 on the board now. Imperial one more round until they get those guns into their pockets. Endpoint looking to make it 6-12, make the difference only half between their opponents. Perhaps they can do it. They need to start stepping up.
It's all got to start somewhere, right? That's what they say. It's going to be Imperial. Just kind of with the scraps, though, unfortunately for them. USPs are going to have to tap on forward, try and find themselves those headshots. So Snod's going to try and do just the same with the SMG towards outside. Doesn't quite connect just yet, but eventually it's going to be the axe that swings, and the axe that decapitates their opposition. As Cryptics and Mighty Max will make their money. Connor is going to find one in return, so at least a healthy little trade for the CT side, but nothing really too crazy and nothing to really be screaming about.
Currently, Endpoint in secret. Not quite sure where they want to go. Everyone makes their way back up into the outside world where the CTs are currently holding. They know Connor must be low. He took a lot of damage, but Connor will find one more for his buck. It's Imi before Ezio comes around and cleans out that area. Just leaves Jacob on his own against 3, but losing 2. Not an ideal scenario. If Jacob can take one more terrorist out of the economy here, will be a higher point for Endpoint. Thankfully, Snods watches their backs, is able to find the frag. But here it is, that gun round. And let's not forget to stress the importance here. Endpoint, they need this win in this series to regain their second place over FM. If they do lose out, that's what separates a second place team from a third place team. Equally, Imperial, they get this win. They separate themselves from 3. Infused, Imperial, and Xenix all tied up on 5 points each. And if Imperial is able to steal away a game, they will be able to push themselves up above the pack.
Solid start though from Emi as he will find one, but Reason is going to secure a trade. Spots out a second play. Ezio is going to try and find himself that headshot, and so he shall, as he takes him down and gets himself the frag to really plant on into the side of Endpoint. But yet again, the trades from the counter-terrorists are so on fleek, as Ezio is going to fall to the hands of Zelen, leaving us in this 3 versus 3.
100, man. It's on fire. Now, Imperial look to try and shut down this terrorist aggression that Endpoint have been showcasing here. It will be the push through the trophy room to make their way towards the B site, the ramp, and it's currently nice and open here for Endpoint. A clear route if they do decide to take it. Imi looking to push a little bit further out, where Zelen is currently standing.
Angle to be fought by Zelen. He finds himself that frag onto all of Imi. Max is going to try and force it back, however, does slap Connor back into his place, leaving us in that 2 versus 2. But look at Boaster. He's going to get himself the flank, but he doesn't check his left. Boaster! Oh no, he doesn't quite get that first frag, but he turns back around and gets the frag either way, so at least brings it back into contention, as it is going to be 15 seconds on the clock. Mighty Max going to try and make this one happen. Playing, swindling around the site, finds one, goes for the second, but Boaster just too strong as he finds himself that 13-6 scoreline for his team.
Boasters on the left of me. Cryptics on the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle of the A site, unfortunately. And it's not happening. It is going to be Imperial stealing that one away. 13-6 now. And a scary thought for Endpoint as they do start to lose the momentum they've been building up here in the second half. They force up once more here. Flakes. Hasn't worked out for them so far. Counter reset possible if they are able to shut down Imperial. Perhaps catch them off guard as they set that wall of smokes in the outside world so they can get down into the safety of Secret. Looking to put the pressure towards the B site.
A catapulting play for Imperial now. Bear in mind, if they take this round, you're almost dead set in motion that they can get themselves on this match point. Things beginning to get a bit hot up in here, though, as Imi is going to try and really start to kickstart this show. Has the Tech 9 is going to be the man to lead the charge, and not quite the player you usually expect. You usually kind of don't look at him as the entry fragger almost, and unfortunately this time around he doesn't quite get that entry frag, as Boaster is going to just shave his head clean off. But either way, a situation that can't quite be unravelled. As Endpoint do have an opportunity, but they're taking a hell of a load of damage before they even get close to a site.
I'm confused. So much invested to get them into Secret, and then they decide they're not going to go for it. They have wrapped around towards the CT spawn. They are going to jump up into heaven, and Zelen trying to trade out. Connor finds Ezio. Mighty Max and Snods, though, they fight back. It puts us into a 3 versus 3 scenario, and now they're out with the high ground on the A site. The bomb to be planted. Resin and Boaster, the last men alive. Currently Endpoint playing to the clock. Imperial with a chance to get that bomb defusal, but it's a 2 versus 3. They're going to have to make it look like clockwork, and they're quite a far part way out here. Flakes not quite close to the bomb sites. Almost like Imperial have made their minds up. A save to try and avoid their economy being shattered too hard. Endpoint are able to hold on to their score so far. 7-13. They're not out of it yet.
Sometimes the greatest rounds are the ones that, when you first see them take place, you don't quite understand what's going on. You can't quite understand the decisions being made. But the ones that still claim victory for the underlying team, and that team right now is going to be Endpoint. They get themselves 7-13. Now that's still one hell of a gap, but it's not something that can't be whittled away, chipped into, as they try and make this comeback happen. We're not going to come out with the same cliche phrase of is it real, because, well, we've already crossed that bridge. Water rolling on through. Instead, what we do want to ask is, where did it all go wrong for Imperial? Where is their CT side at right now? Haven't kind of been able to make these first few buys work. They're on the pistols this time around. Can they put on a show with some CZs and 5.7s perhaps?
It's not too far in, though, for Imperial. These are just early rounds of the half. We haven't quite got deep into it. So it's not where did it all go wrong as much as it's what are you going to do about it? Where are you going to fix these holes that the water is gushing through? And it's unfortunately where we see them fall against teams like FM in the past when they have such strong leads on their T side. Their CT side, it lacks some coordination, unfortunately.
Pistols, however, seem to be set up in, gotta say, pretty damn contempt angles. I'm kind of almost worried for this D side as they make this push. But Ezio is going to walk over just 20 HP, so cutting it close. This Connor is going to come in a pretty hotly contested flank. Only going to find one, however, as Snods will spray on through the smoke. Ezio to backstab on towards Jacob as well, and what looked like a pretty solid setup has been, yet again, dismantled. As Endpoint gets that bomb plant down, Boaster is going to try and still lurch in from behind. Reason pretty much running with the idea of, you know what, this is an AK-47, What do I do with this? That's right. I save.
Yep, they'll have a purchase in the next round. Boaster wants to hold on to his armor. He has utility on him as well, and a 5-7. If Imperial can save anything up here, it's good going for them. We'll just throw that flashbang out to allow him to cross on over, but has to be careful. Imi's coming around the corner. Gun switch though, and that's another gun to be secured as long as Boaster can get on in and over towards that AK. 2 AKs heading into the next round here for Imperial. It's not a round win, but it's not a terrible situation either. As the bomb does blow up, it will be 8 on the board for Endpoint. But now another challenge. 2 AKs, another save for Imperial, but AK can just whittle away at economy. Put them on both sites, put them on one site. Let's see what Imperial decides to do.
At the end of the day, they wouldn't have had any money to do anything in this round, so without those 2 rifles, they would just be sitting there with what everyone else is sitting on, just some USPs and a sultry 5-7 on Connor. So the rifles, they just give them that added firepower, and there's a pretty big distinct gap between having a USB and having an AK after all. Right, just as you mentioned, that AK can try and regurgitate some of that weaponry out on towards their opposition, so who knows if it's going to work out. Perhaps they're just going to be taken down straight away, but it's hopeful than anything else.
Yes, a little bit of hope never goes unwasted. Imperial, though, in another dire situation, has the aggression towards the A site. Connor from above, missing his shots, but he connects one onto Snods. Cryptix goes down to the AK of Risen. That's going to be these guys cleared out. Not quite. Connor's still up. He's looking for more. That's another Connor against Mighty Max, and Connor dancing away at Ballerina on top, but he's not able to find that last frag onto Mighty Max. However, Mighty Max against 2, Jacob and Boaster still with the AK in play. Mighty Max, he has the bomb in hand, 50 seconds to work with, and a smoke grenade as well. Looking to just try and make a sneaky rotation, check all angles from this upper position. Perhaps he changes over to the B site. Let's see what he decides to do here, Flakes.
30 seconds on the clock. A few options, as you mentioned, but only 2 eventual outcomes. Jacob and Boaster, you can see them trying to group up. Jacob knows that he's the man with the USP. If he can peek out first, almost give Boaster the jump, that's a trade that a rifle can try and find. Not even try, very, very possible, but Mighty Max, you spent a lot of time thinking this through. There is 10 seconds now. Imperial, they don't quite have the eventual read, but they can try and go for that quick adaptation, as Mighty Max is going to go for that plant. Should be able to get it down within just the nick of time. But there is Boaster to win that duel. Connor, you cannot even sum up the importance of what he was able to deliver. A triple kill with a 5-7, no Kevlar, no utility, didn't throw a cheeky flash, there was no support from his teammates. It was just him, a pistol, and 3 of Endpoint's heads.
Man, the myth, the legend. He is carrying Imperial closer to that match point. Round 23, a 14-8. Imperial with guns now. Endpoint wondering where things went wrong. Those AKs saved up. It all comes back to that. As Boaster was able to close it out with his. Now, all they need to do is shut down Endpoint. They will not have economy to buy up. They've invested into this round here, Endpoint. If they lose this round, then they go into a match point scenario with nothing but the skin of their teeth. So, they must convert this back into their favor. A flashbang puts Jacob out of the picture, but he's now looking to try and reveal a kill. Not quite able to do so, and Cryptix will open up the Endpoint here. Zelen, he's forced back, but he's got 2 to come through this door. The flashbang's there. He's whited out. Resin is able to find Imi in another part of the map. Boaster's now peeking outside as well. Find Ezio on the ladder, and the bomb, it drops down to his feet as well. A dire scenario for Endpoint as Imperial have all the control of the map. Snods will be making his way onto the A site. Major spot Zelen up in the gallery, and he will spray him down. A 3 versus 3, 40 seconds left on the clock, and Mighty Max has got the bomb back in his hand, making his way over to try and find Connor, and Connor will fall. It leaves Boaster and Resin to clean up this mess. 30 seconds and the bomb to be planted on the A site.
Retake that Imperial now have to try and make work, as Cryptix just 1 HP, Mighty Max 36 now. In contrast to Imperial, that's not much at all. Boaster going to open up the door, swinging now wide, just holding on towards Vent, ready and waiting. Mighty Max will peek Reason. Going to find the trader. 1 versus 1, a bomb to tick. Oh, Cryptic so low. Molotov is going to go out trying to force him out of position. That could be all or nothing. Forces him to run. Makes that sprint, that leap of faith. Reason will win this round for Imperial. They get themselves onto match point. It's going to be 15-8. Endpoint. Yeah, they got themselves to 8. But 8 is not quite enough. And now, this is the real disastrous point. They're going to get 1, 2 rifles, that being the Galil, the AK-47 on towards Mighty Maxes, that core AK-47 that we expect to see. But aside from that, this is rough. Those SMGs have got so much to achieve, and in general, just the kind of the holes in their utility make this up to be a very tough round for Endpoint to win.
7 rounds now in a row for Endpoint. If they want to push us to overtime, Imperial in a prime position to tie this series 1-1. And it's all going to be on Boaster as Endpoint start to stack up here. Boaster moves closer and closer towards him, and Immy runs out. There's Endio as well, but Cryptix finally shuts the man down with a Tech 9 and an AK now to win. As Cryptix comes around, Zelen though, with the flashbang on, will find the kill, and Mighty Max is in a duel. And with Connor, who saved the lives of Imperial already, he will close us out. A 16-8 victory for Imperial, a tied series in fact, and that will be Imperial separating themselves from that triple stack. With that win, they push themselves closer, and unfortunately for Endpoint, they lose that second position to FM as well. A great match of Nuke, a beautiful